Good morning, good morning. I'm back. So, hope everybody's been doing well, taking care of yourself, not getting caught up in the political or economic drama of today, but just keeping it real with yourself and staying focused on the reality that you want to see. So, I just was going to talk a little bit about a particular job that I once had. And it's a job as a nurse case manager in a managed care organization, a rather large one, in fact, in these states of America. And, I meant to really talk on this subject after that incident where that managed care organization executive was taken out. But I didn't really want to get caught up in it at that time because, just because it was a popular topic of discussion and there was so much swirling around it that pretty much a lot of things may have gotten lost or sensationalized, because of the impact of it. But then again, I have to ask myself, was there really an impact from it? Did it ignite some catalyst for change? And from where I see, I don't see that happening yet. And I really didn't think it would. It rattled some people, but for others, it was just business as usual. And as you know how this healthcare industry works, a lot of what we encounter daily is just business as usual. And so when you realize that and you're working in that environment, all you really can do is do what you can do and decide for yourself how long can you do it. Like, what is the end game for you? And so I worked in that capacity as a nurse case manager for, I would say, a little over 2 years. About 2.5 years, I would say. And it started off not to be so difficult, but over a period of time, it really became very challenging to maintain the volume of managing beneficiaries, let's just say, for such a long time. Hey, good morning. Yeah, I just saw one of my regular walker people out here. And it's good to see some regular people still out here. But yeah, so getting back to what I was saying, it seems like it's a machine that works its employees really into the ground. Because as I said, the whole emphasis is on cost containment, restrictions of services. It's based on a framework of limitation for those that are enrolled. And basically, yes, there are high salaries and bonuses paid out to those at the top of the organization, and lots of perks that those at the front line don't get to participate in. And these are publicly traded organizations. So of course, they have responsibility to their investors as well. So very little goes back to the employees, and even less gets out to the enrolled members. Because that's basically what the game is all about, How much can we withhold rather than how much can we give? How much can we support people in their health and wellness? Regardless of what they advertise and promote. Promotional materials say one thing, but the reality of the day-to-day is something totally different. And one of the things that I noticed was that could really drive that forward and put not only enrolled members, but employees in a state of confusion and despair is the fact that there's so much obscurity around the operation. So for example, I would just say, orientations are very short and you're never really given, deep detail into the way things are actually managed. Much of the information is just given as directives. Do this, do it this way. This is when you do it, and this is how you do it, and that's really it. There's really very little wiggle room for any type of variation. And I could understand that. I mean, obviously, for any large organization to function, you need standardized processes. Things need to be streamlined, etc. But aside from that, you're dealing with people. You're dealing with people who have needs. Everybody's individual situation is unique and should really be addressed, The big thing is individualized patient care plans, right? So for things to be individualized, obviously, even if multiple people have the same chronic condition, they're not all going to be managed and treated in the same way. Each person may need different services, different medication, different support, different frequency of encounters with their providers. So there's no real cookie cutter way to manage care. But unfortunately, the way the system is designed is that it is designed to force people into cookie cutter situations and very little room for variation, as I said. So it can become frustrating, and I can totally understand when people are facing, denials and, they appeal and it's denied again and they have to fight for the things that they need to help with their health care. So there was no lies there under those circumstances. But on the employee side, again, without having a full scope of how the systems actually work and the interface among various departments, it becomes very challenging to even help people, regardless of your deepest desire and willingness to do so. Because you don't even know how to navigate the system. You, as the employee, have to figure out, well, how do I get this person that? Who do I need to speak to? What do I need to submit? What information do I need from them? So for me, and I'm only speaking from my personal experience, it was very challenging because I found myself almost daily reaching out in many ways to different other employees in other departments, in terms of authorization, utilization, appeals and grievances, you name it. I was contacting everybody. And if I got a name and a number or email, I would save that in my contacts so that I know this person was helpful. I can go back to them, get more information, et cetera, et cetera. Because even within the department that I worked in, in case management, there wasn't too much knowledge. Not even that. And maybe if there wasn't the willingness to support. Not to the extent that was necessary to really meet the needs of the enrolled members. So a lot of that work had to be done internally on an individual basis. Hence the reason why you're not going to necessarily find that everyone's experience is the same, because everybody's not working to the same degree with the same level of commitment and integrity. Some people are just fine to say, hey, no is a no, that's it. Whereas you might find some other employees that'll say, you know what, let me try to find a way to resolve this for you. I see that you have a need. Let me try to find a way to get this for you, to see that you can get it, to involve those who can ensure that there's a successful outcome here that benefits the beneficiary. And then you have everything else in between, you know. There are some that just going through the motion, collecting their pay and moving right along. And they're not looking to go above and beyond. And that's what you get. You get the whole spectrum. And so for someone like myself, you know, I would say it's kind of close to a burnout situation because, you know, you're dealing with over 100 people that you may be assigned to case manage. And I'm going to say 100 is the average. It could be a little bit below for a couple of days, but for the most part, it was consistently above. Let's just say it. I wouldn't even go into how high the numbers could get, but just knowing that had to be done on a daily basis for so many people, in addition to the basic regular requirements that were necessary for compliance purposes, with monthly calls and care plan updates and, you know, educating people about their preventative care, testing and follow up with their primary care and education and following up on every hospitalization, emergency room, medication change, you name it. There was many things that needed to be done on a daily basis, even if there were not any unusual circumstances that needed to be addressed as it relates to services or benefits. So I'm just saying all that basically to say, look, when you as a nurse decide to go into a certain role in a particular industry, aspect, I should say, of healthcare, it's important to kind of know what you're getting into. And sometimes you really don't know until you're actually in it. So part of my own nursing journey was to basically do things that were of interest to me, but allow me to learn as well and to really understand another aspect of the healthcare system from a different perspective. So, and I could even see in some of these organizations where even in leadership positions, it can get rather cutthroat among them as well because, again, they're looking at metrics. They're constantly focused on metrics and outcomes in terms of team performance. So if a manager, director, supervisor, whatever title they had, felt that employee wasn't performing optimally, they would quickly get to eliminate that person. I mean, I saw people come in for orientation and they weren't even there after the first 3 months. They were gone. And I'd be looking around like, where's so-and-so? You know, oh, they're gone. So, and you know, you could tell by talking to them that these were people, well, I could tell by speaking with them because I helped to, you know, orient and mentor a few of them. They were really interested in doing a good job. They really understood that they were doing something that was valuable and important to the enrolled members, but they had a big challenge with getting past, you know, the bureaucracy of it all and the high demands on productivity on a daily basis, because you really don't have the time to go in depth to really help people to navigate, you know. And at the very beginning, you're even told, hey, don't be so hard on yourself. This is what management is telling you. Don't be so hard on yourself. It takes at least 6 months to a year to really know this job and to really get good at it and understand it and be proficient in the role. But yet and still you're letting people go after 3 months. Like, how are they gonna develop any competency in that short amount of time when you're telling people it takes 6 months to a year to learn the job, because it's so. And then on top of that, every week they would be changing procedures, changing protocols, changing workflows. So on top of the volume of work you had to do, there was a constant flux in how it had to be done. And there were always, pieces added. Procedures were changed. Policies were new. So whatever you did last week was not the same thing you were going to be doing this week, and pretty much sure wasn't going to be the same thing you're going to do next week. Now add that for an inflated level of frustration. So again, this is my experience. Some people might be doing this for many, many years and love it and be able to manage it and do it very well and be in a supportive environment. And I say, great. If you know that you're making an impact and you love what you're doing, hey, continue on. But for any of you out there that have worked in case management, on the managed care side, you might know what I'm speaking about. You might be feeling a similar way. And all I can say is, when it's time to go, you know. And don't overstay. That's the other thing. My last point, don't overstay anywhere. Because once it gets to the point where you know that you're no longer able to effectively perform your duties and you're no longer able to deal with the demands of the environment, or even the toxicity that might exist within it, then I would highly recommend that you make an exit plan for yourself, And sometimes that exit plan may take several months to implement because, again, you want to move strategically. You don't want to necessarily move impulsively because sometimes that's where we just wind up going from the frying pan into the fire, as they say. When we just say, you know what, I'm just going to take this other job just to get out of here. Or I'm just going to quit and figure it out later. Now, I'm not saying if you're in an unsafe situation, stay there and continue to be unsafe. But if you have time, and if it's something you've been thinking about, and if there's something else you want to do, and you have your eye on another goal, another achievement that you want to attain, then put your focus on that. Go to work, do what you normally do. Don't go around telling everybody your business or what you're planning to do or what you're thinking about doing. Just keep it to yourself, right? And just go about your day to day, but shift your focus, right? Put your emphasis on what you want to do next. And normally, I wouldn't really generalize that recommendation to everybody's situation. But I would say for those of you who are able to compartmentalize to some degree, you know that you may have to do more than one thing at the same time. And I'll just leave it at that. However that works for you, right? So if you have to go to your work and go to school in the evening or do a certification online, spend your weekends, investing in studying something else, pursuing something else, whether it's related to nursing or not, or some other passion that you have, then you do what you have to do, right? Because again, at the end of the day, it's your life. And these corporations, let's be real, they don't really care about you. They're in the business to make money, and that's it. Period. The end. So don't get caught up in, any of the drama that's played out there, right? If you want to help people and you want to continue helping people, there's many ways that you can go about helping people. But first and foremost, you have to help yourself. So let that be the guiding principle for today. I help myself first, right? Because when you're happy and at peace and well taken care of, then you can share that same vibration with others, that happy, peaceful, well taken care of vibration. And it resonates. And you feel a whole lot better about what you're doing than if you're doing something from a place of emptiness and stress and confusion. Okay, so I want to leave you with that. 20 minutes. Hey, I've said all I need to say for now. So until next time, be well and take good care of yourself.